Hey everyone. So I know that everybody and their dog is talking about it, but we gotta do it. We're gonna be talking about Cyberpunk and all the craziness there. Welcome to Gamer Thoughts. Today we're talking about games that have come back from the dead. So 2022 has become an absolute wild year for our bingo cards. I definitely did not have Cyberpunk 2077 coming back from the dead as something I expected to happen. But here we are. Uh, Last time we talked about games that are dying or games that are dead. But on rare occasion, those games get a second shot at life. And recently, Cyberpunk 2077 has proven that that's possible. Unless you've been living under a rock, you've definitely heard about the wild popularity of the anime Cyberpunk Edgerunners that came out on Netflix just a few weeks ago. Now, I watched the anime, I thought it was brilliant. It made me want to play Cyberpunk, and not just me, millions of other players wanted to revisit or visit the world of Cyberpunk for the first time because of this anime. The characters in are absolutely phenomenal. The story's absolutely phenomenal. And it definitely made me want to get involved in the world. And when you get in the game, you can find references to the show. You can find characters' weapons. You can find their jackets. There's all sorts of like cool tie-ins that make you want to go experience this thing. And it's seen a huge resurgence, like not just a small one. It went from having about 8,000 concurrent players on Steam on any given day to, according to the official Twitter from CD Projekt Red, it went to over 1 million players a day visiting Night City for an entire week after the show came out. Um, and they just announced recently that they've crossed 20 million copies of the game sold, which is a huge milestone for any game, let alone one that was fading into obscurity. Which I think is just the coolest thing, that they didn't give up on the project. They kept development going. They fixed things. And then timing wise, when were getting ready to launch a new DLC, this show came out and revitalized this fan base. However, this isn't a wholly unique thing just to Cyberpunk. 2022 has actually already seen this happen quite recently before with another franchise that wasn't necessarily dead, but was an older game that less people were playing, and that is Nier Automata. Recently, there was a wild goose chase that was done on the internet to find out what the deal was with a video that got released of a player entering this zone that no one had ever seen in the game. We did eventually learn that this was a really elaborate mod that's now referred to as the Church mod. But this drummed up a whole ton of conversation on social media, on news articles, all these people talking about a game that was released 7 years ago, and got people playing it again. Sales numbers went up for the game. Stream numbers went up for the game. A bunch of people who had never tried it or who had had it sitting in their backlog suddenly wanted to play this game. And it was this wild turn of events that brought this game back to life and back to the forefront of the public zeitgeist. And it's made me think a lot about like what it is that drives us to play the games that we do, and what really is happening with these revivals. Is it just that, oh, there was some advertising for the show or for the game, and now, we're thinking about it again? And I actually think it's not just that. I think it's about the emotional attachment we have to these games. I think things like the Church mod and getting everybody discussing the game again, or Cyberpunk Edgerunners bringing in these characters that we really like and have these relatable stories that we want to go pursue and learn more about, is a huge driver for why we play games. I think about game series that I absolutely love, like the Final Fantasy series, where I will look past a lot of flaws in a game just because it has certain elements of Final Fantasy that I have an emotional attachment to and that I have nostalgia around. games on the Nintendo Switch. I love the hype that comes around a new Pokemon game coming out. I love Mario games. I love Zelda games. And it's like, even though I know it won't be an optimal experience, I want to play these games because I have this huge emotional attachment to it. And so we're really entering this weird phase in gaming where you see a lot of cross-media storytelling to create these emotional attachments. If you look at Arcane that came out earlier this year and the surge that that gave to the League of Legends franchise and all these new people trying a game that they had never done before because they had this new emotional attachment to these characters because of that show. And other games are pursuing this same strategy. Coming out soon, we're going to have the Last of Us television show on HBO, which is following a story that we already know, but it's going to bring a whole new audience to that gaming franchise, as well as Horizon Zero Dawn is making a television show in coordination with Netflix. And so this seems to be becoming a more popular strategy, not just to release the game and release trailers and release stuff to let you know the game's here, but we're actually doing this cross-media, whether it's a book or a show, to make you excited about the franchise and make you have an emotional attachment. And I think it's pretty cool. I think it's fun to see this kind of thing happen in the video gaming world, and especially at the quality of things like Cyberpunk Edgerunners or the Arcane show, where it's not clearly just a cash grab, but there's actual intent with these shows and love for the franchise and good storytelling. But I love everything that's happened with Cyberpunk because of this show. I love the show, and I love to see games like this get a new lot in life. But let me know what you've thought about this. Have you gone back and visited Cyberpunk after seeing the show? Have you watched the show? Is there a gaming franchise that you love that you wish would get a really cool anime to revitalize the fandom with? Let me know down in the comments. As always, this has been Gamer Thoughts. If you enjoy this, make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. As always, much love.